Cole.
You're kidding. Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get down.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello, and welcome to episode 262 of the Rotten Reviews podcast. Thank you, everyone, for showing up to this episode. If you're a new listener, thank you for deciding to give this podcast a chance. And hopefully, if you enjoy this episode, hopefully you'll check out the back catalog of old episodes that we have. Over 200 episodes, and I've done a ton of full moon features already, because, you know, that's what this movie is. This movie is a full moon feature. And honestly, I think this is the first time I've ever done an movie by Albert Band, which I thought maybe during the last episode that he was related to Charles Band. I did not know that he was his father. I thought maybe they're brothers or something. Yeah, I had no idea that Albert Band was the father of Charles Band. I don't know really Albert Band at all. I know Charles Band. I know his movies very well. Never really did a deep dive and realized that his dad was a director and whatnot as well. So that's my bad. Maybe I'll have to do like a deep dive and just do a full month of Albert Band related movies, just so I get a little bit of an education on the kind of movies he's done, which I'm assuming his son follows in the same footsteps as his father. So I'm okay with that, because I don't know if you guys know, but I enjoy bad movies. Obviously, you don't know that if this is your first time watching or listening to an episode of the Rotten Reviews podcast, but you'll find that out if you stick around or if you listen to the back catalog. I mean, I don't like just bad movies, but I do find enjoyment in bad movies. So, but with that being said, before we do jump too far into this podcast episode at hand, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping, like I like to do at the beginning of each and every single episode.
Housekeeping?
I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towels?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
So as always, if you guys are listening to this on Spotify or whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, if you guys could just hit that share button. That share button does help out a lot. Helps get the podcast out to new ears and eyes. By eyes, I mean if you're checking it out on YouTube, because we have episodes on YouTube as well as the Facebook page. So definitely go check that out. All my links are down below. But yeah, if you can, whatever podcast platform you're listening on, just hit that share button. If you want to leave a star rating, if you're on Spotify, feel free to leave a 5-star, 4-star, whatever star you want. If it's a 1-star, I'm going to be a little bit sad and disappointed, but that's okay. I understand. If you want to hurt my feelings, it's okay. I'm a big boy. I got big shoulders. I can handle it. If you're on Apple or iTunes, feel free to leave a review there, and whatever other podcast platform that allows you to leave a review. I don't know them all. I just stick with Spotify, so. And I'm not an Apple user at all. I don't care for Apple products, so if you're on those platforms, thank you. I appreciate it. If you guys could, also though, if you want some more free content, definitely go check out all my links down below. All my social medias. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, X, whatever it might be. But the main thing that we like to push for is that YouTube channel. Definitely go check it out. I have weekly game videos that drop every single Wednesday. Old episodes of the podcast drop every single Monday. I have usually daily shorts that go as well. Community posts, and we do live streams. So definitely go check that out. Doing a lot of video game related live streams. Right now we got some Killer Clown content coming out. Done some Fortnite content, GTA Online content. I'm a variety streamer when it comes to video games, so. And we're actually working on Streamlabs right. Actually, before this, we were working on Streamlabs so I can get art streams up and running. So it's a lot of content, a lot of things to do. So definitely go check out. And the last thing that I'm gonna trying to sell on you guys, check out the CWC, Canadian Wrestling Championship page. We have an Instagram page as well as a Facebook page. Links are down in the description below. But that's for all your wrestling content, and we are working closer and closer to having a show set up for October. No set date that I want to give out at the moment, just because of all the legal related stuff. So that will hopefully be happening in October. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll give you more updates upon closer to that date. But I want to also say thank you to everyone who's been checking out the podcast over the last couple days. Looking at the numbers just before getting on tonight to record, I think we're just shy of 1,000 new listens for the last 28 days, which is pretty cool. I know it's no Joe Rogan numbers or anything like that, but the fact that you guys are listening to this so much in the last month, I'm dumbfounded, and I just don't know what to say. I appreciate it, and I'm glad so many people are actually taking the time to check it out. I know I've been more active on various sites like Discord chats and Instagram chats and all that stuff, so hopefully that helps. It seems like it's helping. I mean, it seems like me trying to be more of a focal point in these horror discussions is helping out. So hopefully it will stay that way. And here's to whatever happens in the near future. Hopefully more views, more followers, more friendly faces is what we're looking for. Just looking to make a community of like-minded people who enjoy all the same things, and it seems like it's going in the right direction, and it feels good. And Halloween's coming up close. We already got the family Halloween movies going, so I'm feeling good about everything. So it's been a pretty good couple weeks now. So hopefully you guys are all having a good time as well. And we got a bunch of new artwork going out as well. I have 3 weeks worth of lunchbox drawings done for my child. I have some other concept drawings going out as well, and some other things I can't actually discuss because they're kind of top secret, so to speak. But hopefully that news will be good and positive, and we can announce some of that stuff soon. I'm just gonna take it day by day, and that's all you can do, right? But enough of me yapping about my personal stuff, because you guys are here to listen to me for some reason talk about a movie called Robot Wars from 1993. It's a sci-fi action movie for a runtime of 1 hour and 12 minutes. Chef kiss, man. I love these shorter movies. It's hard nowadays for me to want to sit down and watch a 2-hour movie. It really is. I don't like all these Marvel movies as much as I love them. I find it hard to sit and watch a 2-hour movie. I like the hour 36. Those are pretty good movies. I enjoy those runtimes. So this being 1 hour 12, that's fine. It's going to be fast. But for anyone who hasn't watched this movie or listened to one of my podcast episodes before, I'm going to be talking about this movie from start to finish and hitting all the points in between that interest me. So that means it's going to be a spoiler-heavy episode. So if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1993, feel free to pause the episode now. Upon doing so, you're in luck though, because you can watch this movie for free on Tubi. Not a sponsor unless you do want to sponsor me. If you do, I'd appreciate that so much. But yeah, go watch it for free on Tubi, and then come back and listen to me talk about the movie, or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the movie, and I'll either make you really want to see the movie, or you'll be okay with skipping it. I leave that judgment call up to you at the end of this episode. But this movie has a 3.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 2.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. 70% of Google's users have enjoyed this movie. Distributed by Paramount Pictures and production companies Full Moon Entertainment. The description for this movie: gigantic fighting robots are the last remaining superpower in a post-apocalyptic world where outlaws will stop at nothing to wield their might. This one is directed by Albert Band. He was also the producer of Honey, I Blew Up the Kids in 1992, which I had no idea about that one. He was the producer for 1979's She Came to the Valley. Producer for 1959's Face of Fire. And he was apparently the drunk in 1986 From Beyond. I'm also going to quickly look at some of his other movies. In 1985, he was the executive producer for Castle Freak. Of course, he was the producer for 1994's Prehysteria 2. I should knew he had stuff to do with his sons. He was also the producer for 1991's The Pit in the Pendulum. I guess I know some of his movies, just never really paid attention to them before. And then, of course, this movie has 2 writers, and the first one being, of course, Albert's son, Charles band, which you would definitely know as being the producer for 1990's Phantoms, producer for 1989's 13 Nights of Elvira, Puppet Master, and producer for 1984's Trancers, producer for 2025's Evil Bong a Thong, in 2025 as well, City of Demons. I'm just reading off stuff on IMDb that I haven't read off before. 2024, producer for Killjoy, Terrify. And he's got a lot of movies. He pops out movies like almost every month, it seems like, and they're not great movies, but they're fun movies for the most part. This movie also has another rare credit to it, which is Jack Hansen. He was also the writer for 1993's Mandroid, the writer for 1989's Nowhere to Run, the writer for 1992's Seed People. Pretty sure I did that one on the podcast, or that might have been one of the On This Day in Horror posts recently. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's on my Rotten Views Instagram page where I do daily On This Day in Horror posts, but that's a tangent, sidetracked. But he's also the writer for 1983's 800 Leagues Down the Amazon. In 1984, he was the writer for Body Chemistry 3. What the frig is that? So apparently he did a lot of these body chemistry. He was like the main person behind it, because the first one was in 1990. He also did the screenplay in 1991 for Subspecies. It's not at that point in time where we're going to talk about two of the lead actors, or actresses, I should say, in the movie. The first one we're going to talk about is Don Michael Paul, playing the character Marion Drake. He was also the writer for 1981's Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, which was also another episode on this podcast. He was the director for 2018's The Scorpion King, Book of Souls. He was the director for 2019's Jarhead, Law of Return, as well as the director for 2018's Death Race, Beyond Anarchy. I mean, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man's pretty good. He's also done some CSI episodes, some Strong Medicine episodes, some Pacific Blue. So he seems to do TV related stuff at the moment. His last thing was actually in 2021. Their actor or actress we are going to talk about is Barbara Crampton, playing the character of Letta Fanning. In 1986, she played the character Dr. Catherine McMichaels in From Beyond. She was Aubrey in 2011's You're Next. She was Annie Sashiti in 2015's We Are Still Here. In 1985, she was Megan Halsey in Reanimator. Upon, a ton of everything, because she has 93 actress credits to her role, or to her name, I should say. This one's also a fun one that I should mention because I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. She does the voice for Virginia in the game, which I thought was pretty cool. She's also, I didn't know this because I don't watch this at all. And from 1987 to 2023, she's in 185 episodes of The Young and the Restless. I had no idea that show was even still on. Don't know really anything about it. Pretty sure my mother used to watch it. Don't think she does anymore. Not really 100% sure, but I was kind of surprised by that. The tagline for this movie is, first there was Robot Jock. That's literally the tagline. Kind of sucks to be honest with you, but it's a Charles Band, Albert Band related movie, so what were we really expecting? Let's be honest with ourselves. Apparently the trivia on IMDb, chosen to be featured in an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000 Season 13. Okay, that's good trivia, I guess, for you to know. Also, there's a quote. I haven't watched this movie at all yet upon doing this intro, but I see this quote and it just kind of caught my eye. And apparently it's the character Wall-E. Yeah, Wall-E. And it says, "Peekaboo, I kill you." All right, I'm looking forward to seeing that line somewhere along in this movie. But yeah, there's not really too much else to dive into for this movie. So at this point in time, we're gonna get ready to watch the movie. So like I said earlier, if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1993, feel free to pause this episode now. Go watch it for free on Tubi, or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the movie. And I'll either make you want to see it, or you'll just be happy with skipping it. I'll leave that judgment call up to you. But if you're listening to this at home, hopefully you're relaxing, comfy, have some snacks, maybe relaxing after a hard day's work. If you're at work listening to this, hopefully this helps you get through the day. And like I know most of you guys are in the car, if you're listening, make sure to keep your eyes on the road, where you're going, get to where you're going nice and safely. Want everyone to get to where they need to go and nobody gets hurt. I know you really want to run over that old person that's taking forever to run across the street, but they're only worth 10 points, so it's not really worth it anymore because the point system went down. So just avoid them, let them get across. Might take them an hour or so, but it's fine. We're not in any hurry, right? I was expecting to do something a little bit funnier for that part, but I'm pulling out my Charles Band content and just half-assing it. I'm kidding. He's fine. Anyways, let's get started on the movie at hand.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
money here. Not we, you. You're talking about money. I'm talking about human beings, man. Life.
Fire!
Get that full moon entertainment presents just coming up on the screen. The bats flying by. We know we're in for some quality action right now. And we actually see Robot Wars font like a whole, looks like almost a business card pop up kind of style. It actually doesn't look too bad for the intro font. Looks pretty good, not gonna lie. The intro credits in, and then we just see this robot scorpion just walking through this desert area. And apparently it's Maris too, and they're making their way through because they see an enemy is somewhere off on the radar system. So they do a hyper zoom on the radar, and they're like squinting at the screen, be like, there's kind of maybe a coyote out there with a laser gun between his legs. I don't understand what's going on here. So the pilot of the scorpion guy, we find out is Drake, because one of the other guys in the station, he's like, we got a real Wild West show out there. There's an intruder on the far side. You know, I don't know what we're gonna do about it. So then Lieutenant Plunkett's like, so Drake, do you hear that? There's an enemy somewhere over there. It's like, yeah, I'll deal with it. So then Drake's like, I'm gonna put out the mag shields. And then the sergeant, or Plunkett or whatever, he's like, forget about the shield, just blast them away, just annihilate them, just destroy them. And then we see people in this like shuttle cargo ship, but like it's a standard robot walking, and over the CB radio it's like, Captain has put the full security system on, and we are now in an active no smoking zone, so if you guys could put out all your cigarettes and smokes, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then it's like, thank you for riding Mega Robot 2. Also, Plunkett is talking to Wall Lee and Chol Singh, who are also there to watch the Maris in action, because he's trying to sell these new robots to the Orientals, because he's like, yeah, they need them. You guys need them. Definitely need them. Top of the line. You know, it's going to keep your people safe. So then Plunkett leaves and goes to talk to Drake on a different computer in a different room. And Drake's like, so you want me to turn your little sales pitch into a whole full-on war? And Plunkett's like, I want you to keep your smart remarks to yourself and just annihilate the enemies that you see, alright? So then as Drake's driving the Scorpion shuttle ship, this enemy that are using this tank, but they're controlling the tank with some kind of control outside the tank. They keep shooting at Drake, and Drake's like, sir, I'm going to have to ask for some reinforcements on the ground. And Plunkett's like, nah, sorry, denied. Just going to have to deal with it yourself. So these people that are on the shuttle ship, they're actually riding on the top cockpit of the Morris 2, the Scorpion that Drake's piloting, because you have the cockpit where he's sitting, and then above it, on the body, you have another shell where people can be in for like a bus transportation system essentially. And we see the people watching as the laser beams are going all across the screens, because they got windows, and like, oh wow, it looks like we're really being attacked here. That's kind of crazy, huh? And Drake's like trying to control this Scorpion as it's walking, as these lasers are being shot at him, but he's not doing anything to fight back at all. He's just trying to keep the thing to walk straight, even though it's got like the Scorpion tail and there's clearly a gun on the back of it. He's like, I don't want to shoot at these people, I'm gonna kill them. It's like, well, if you don't kill them, they're gonna kill you and everybody else inside the ship, so you might as well just kill them. So now after finally waiting, he finally targets the tank, and before he even targets the tank, the enemy guys are running away from it, so they're not going to die anyways. It's just the tank's going to go up in flames, and the enemy guys are just going to be walking in the desert somewhere. Also, we find out that the co-pilot with Drake is named Stumpy, and Stumpy's also like the main mechanic because he's complaining, being like, oh, somebody else is going to have to fix this damn thing. Oh no, wait, it's going to be me stuck fixing it like always. So I thought the main guy talking that was giving Drake the orders was Pluckett. Apparently Pluckett's like the secondary guy by the looks of it. The main guy is Rooney, and Rooney's an asshole because he was pushing Drake to fight the tanks beforehand. He was actually setting it up too so the tanks were there to fire at him because he was just trying to use it as a sales pitch to show Singh and Lee like, hey, look how good this thing is. You're going to definitely want to buy some because you're going to need them. So then we see everyone coming off of the ship, and Lieutenant Pluckett's there. Be like, all right, guys, you guys are going to keep your badges on your chest so everything's viewable because you're going to stay with us. You're not going to get lost on the track, okay? Or I guess he's taking a new batch of people over because apparently this is the last mega robot around, and it's pretty much like a tourist attraction because they're going to go over to this Crystal Vista town, which was like the last American town that everyone wants to go visit because it's the coolest thing ever. And then Pluckett looks out the window. He's like, look, Maris 2 is finally back and it's getting ready to let its passengers off. We can definitely tell you there's a lot of happy passengers over there. I know that for a fact, even though they were almost killed. But that's besides the point. So then we see Lita getting off the original tour group, and then she's meeting up with Annie, the media person that was supposed to be on the new tour group. And apparently she was just there just so she'd get out there sooner than having to wait around. So then as Lita and Annie are talking, she's complaining about the pilot. And Drake and Stumpy are standing at the desk behind them. And he's like, excuse me, miss, did you call me an asshole? He's like, well, you're a jerk-off because you broke my specimen because of how you're controlling that robot. He's like, hey, how about we go to your place today? Because my place is a mess. And then she decks him. He's like, feisty. I'll definitely get with that one. And Stumpy's like, wow, she's really carrying some bear claws out under those sweater pants, huh? And Drake's like, Stumpy, calm down. She's gonna bear my children. And Stumpy's like, with that punch, I don't think she likes you at all, sir. She's like, yeah, probably not. And then we find out that there's this common thing between Drake and Stumpy, and Drake keeps saying he's going to quit, but he never does quit. And he's like, no, this time I'm actually quitting. And Stumpy's like, again? You're quitting again? So then we see Rooney talking to Singh and Lee, and he's like, well, the one you're going to buy is going to be like half the size of that, and it's going to be missing a few components, but it's still going to be able to deal with the toxic stuff that you have to deal with in your territory. So it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It won't be the 100% like the one you just saw, but it'd be pretty similar to it. So to try and boost the sale, Rooney's like, so Singh, Lee, I got you to ride on the ship tomorrow, and you're going to be up front behind the pilot and the co-pilot. You're going to be able to see everything. You're going to see how it controls. You're definitely going to enjoy this ride. Nothing bad's going to happen at all. So then we see Lita and Andy talking in the rooms. And apparently Lita's on to some kind of investigation because her samples were like things that shouldn't be around at this point in time, apparently. It's a lot of mumbo jumbo that doesn't really make too much sense, to be honest with you. Because then at one point, Lita shows Annie this picture, and she's like, oh, that's some kind of the spring. And she's like, yeah, that just makes sense. She's like, yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to us either. No, it sure doesn't. So then we see Drake and Rooney having a conversation, and Rooney's like, you're a walking minus sign. You're way too negative every single time. And Drake's like, these guys are shooting at us with technology that shouldn't be here, man. So then Rooney's like, you gotta stop, Drake. We're trying to get money here. If we stop making sales to the Eastern Hemi or whatever, our North Hemi is gonna stop. And we're going to be nothing. And Drake's like, you just got to stop the tours, man. We can't be doing the tours anymore. It's too dangerous. And then at one point, Rooney's like, hey, Drake, why don't you take a long vacation? I want you to try New Chicago. I hear it's really nice and windy right now this time of year. And I think you're dismissed now. You should just go take a long vacation. So then we see everyone sitting down to watch this like samurai practice match between each other. And Stumpy and Drake sit behind Lita and Annie. And Lita's like, so how's your face? He's like, oh yeah, she definitely knows me, man. It's not bad, I'll live. And Annie looks back. She's like, I was cuter before you popped him in the face. And Letta's like, shut up. So then one of the samurai guy challenges Drake, and he's like, no, General, my feet are pretty sore. And the samurai guy's like, poor skills for 2041. So we find out that the movie's set in 2041. So we find out the one general guy is actually Lee inside the whole outfit. Anyways, he's like, I need you to honor me to a match. So then Drake just comes up, grabs the other guy's stick, sacks him a couple times, knocks him to the ground, and is like, that wasn't even a fair fight. The guy wasn't even ready for you. You just came up out of nowhere. Well, I mean, he called you up, but still, you just grabbed Buddy's stick and just started sacking him. And then we see Annie and Letta on another mega robot trip. Anyways, they're on the way to the Crystal Vista or whatever, and apparently now it's Sergeant Bowles driving the shuttle because Drake is actually taking his vacation. And the whole time Annie and Letta are talking about Drake, and Anna's like, you really missed the boat with that Drake guy. She's like, well, yeah, he is kind of cool, huh, I guess. So then we see Rooney talking to Lieutenant Pritchard, and Pritchard's like, well, I don't think we should really be sending Wall-E out. He's like, well, we're going to send him out in the afternoon. He's like, are you sure that's really a good idea? He's like, well, yeah, it's actually my idea, so it's going to be a good idea. He's like, all right, sir, if you say so. So then Pritchard tells Rooney that apparently Drake's out doing this other spot, this special operation. And he's like, he's out there playing cowboys and Indians with the grunts. And he's like, well, you know how Drake is, sir. And Rooney's like, I hope he gets his goddamn ball shot off. A little aggressive. Okay, I can understand getting sacked, but shooting a man's ball off? Come on now. So then we cut to like this desert area, and we see these soldier guys are looking at this rubble debris, and it's like a biker helmet. It looks like a bike got blown up. And then Stumpy's like, what would John Wayne do? And he just jumps up behind the rock being like, remember the Alamo. And then he hides behind the rocks, and the soldier guys go to shoot at him. And then we find out apparently Drake's hiding underneath this debris, and he just shoots at every single soldier guy, and they all die because, it's laser guns. And they're just wearing, like, jackets by the looks of it. So then they're looking at the debris, and Stumpy picks up this canary. He's like, it's tequila. And Drake's like, does that have the worm in it? And he's like, no. Then he just tosses. He's like, I don't drink that cheap shit. And then they're like, why is the Centros out here? He's like, I don't know. It's a bunch of debris. It's kind of cheap shit. So then Drake gets a little close to Stumpy. He's like, don't get too close there, Drake. You smell like shit, all right? And then Drake's like, how would you like to sleep underneath that, take a nap underneath that junk over there, huh? Stumpy's like, no, I get claustrophobic. I start hearing voices. I go crazy and stuff. I can't do that, sir. And then we see the shuttle showing up to this new destination. And apparently it's a 1990s ghost town. So that Crystal Vista place is like a 1990s era ghost town. And then we see the guy being like, all right, guys, proceed to the door. The Maris is now docked now, and you guys are all able to get out and go to the terminal. I guess it's essentially like a day cruise, because as they're getting off the ship and they're at the terminal, Plunkett's like, don't forget to get your cruise package, all right, guys? And then he's like, I also want to introduce you to Bowles. He was our pilot. And he's like, I hope you guys will have a fun time in Crystal Vista. It's an interesting place, a little educational place. And I'll see you guys back here tonight to take you back home. And then Plunkett's like, all right, guys, this is like the last Southwest place in the world before it was separated from the U.S. And like the people used to say back then, have yourself a nice day and let's get going into town now. So Drake and Stumpy brought back this device from the rubble when they got in the fight with Centrons, and they're showing this thing to the scientists, and apparently it's something that the Centrons wouldn't use. And apparently it's some satellite bouncer system, and apparently it came from like the Asian side of things. So then Drake's getting a little worried about things. He's like, something smells a little fishy out there, Rooney. And Drake thinks that the Centros are bugging the place, and Rooney's like, Drake, you know what, you're getting on my last nerve, man. You're getting on my real last nerve. What are you guys even doing out there fighting the Centros anyways? So then it must be the trip back, because we see Lee is in the Maris or whatever with Bowles, and Lee's like, Bowles is letting me drive the ship, it's very fun. And apparently Bowles is like, General, you're hitting the robot like a real pro, you're pretty much a natural at this. I'm sure you probably have a little bit of experience doing it, probably, most likely. So then we see the tour walking around the Vista ghost town, and people in the town are like looking out the windows being like, great, and they're fucking tourists here again. And then we see Annie and Letta walking down a different pathway from the tour, and Annie's like, so I guess we're going somewhere we probably shouldn't be going, huh? And then they just walk into I don't know, it looks like a school or maybe like a town hall building. So then Rooney is checking in with Picard, being like, so how's the trip going? He's like, well, Wally should be here probably in an hour. He's having more fun than a 16-year-old in Cat House. And Rooney's like, so has he hit any, like, cliffs or cactus or anything bad? He's like, no, not yet, sir. Then we see Stumpy and Drake at the bar in the station, and they're sitting at this table, and they're playing like their own version of like a Rock'em Sock'em robot, I guess. But it's like RC cars that are robots, and they gotta stay inside this barrier. If they get outside of it, it's kind of like sumo wrestling, you lose. It's interesting, different. So we go back to Annie and Letta, and they're going through this building, and then somehow they get through these underground tunnels, and they're finding these micron transistors and other weird pieces. And Letta's like, it's just like in the manual, like I showed you. It's crazy. It's like, where's this random ladder go? It's like, well, I don't know. Let's find out. The girls run up the ladder because they hear voices, and then they get on top of this area. And then Annie's like, what was that? Voice is weird. You could clearly tell it was somebody talking. But that's besides the point. And Letta's like, I don't know, church mice maybe? A whole school of them? I don't know. So then the girls come out of that building, and they're standing at this fence line. And then Letta's like, you go back to the terminal, Annie, and I'll meet you back there. She's like, no, you're crazy. I'm not going to leave you. You got 15 minutes to get back there, or I'm going to call the National Guard. She's like, okay, fine. I'll be back there in 10 minutes. And then as Annie walks off scene, we see Letta pull a space gun out of her bag and go back into the building because she's like, I need more clues. I need more secrets. I need to find something. Then as Letta's going to explore that building some more, these two double doors open up and like 4 Centros or Centurion warrior guys pop out, and she laser blasts the one guy, and then she just books off. And then we see everyone else at the terminal, and Pluckett's like, I'm glad you guys had a good time at the ghost town, and we are going to get ready to board here soon. So then we see Bull and Wally and Cho Sung showing back up to the terminal. Apparently after he dropped the first group of people off, he then went off back to go get Wally and everyone else. And of course, Letta's not back yet, so then Annie's trying to stall Plunkett, and he's like, well, if she's not back here in time, she's just going to have to wait for the next run, or she's going to miss out on that one too. Then as Letta's running through town, one of the terminal guys or guards shows up. He's like, hey, what's the matter, man? She's like, Centros, the whole town's full of them. And the guy's like, no, there's no Centros. Then Centros pops around the corner and just blasts them in one shot. Then as Plunkett and Bowles and the group are getting ready to board the terminal again, we see Bowles and Wally and Singh getting off the terminal, and we see the Centros are holding everyone hostage, and then Wally's like, everything good has to come to an end. So then Wally shoots Bowles, and well, he's dead because apparently you get shot once here, you're dead. And then Wally's like, we won, and everyone just starts cheering, we won. Then Rooney gets woken up from his nap, and he's all pissed off. And then he's talking to Wally on the computer. He's like, while you were taking a Western nap, I was learning the 9 yards of the robot. And then Rooney's like, where's Bowles? I want to talk to him. He's like, well, he's on what you call 20th century ice. He's kind of dead. So we see everyone load into the Mirrors 2, and Wally is driving, and all the hostages are in the terminal area, like, of the ship, and Annie calls up to the captain, Wally. She's like, everyone's suffocating here. There's no AC, there's no cool air, nothing. You're gonna kill us. So then he's like, oh, you're complaining. I'm just gonna open this hatch. And then one of the guys complaining just falls right out of the hatch, being like, oh, see, wanna complain? Anybody else wanna leave? And everyone else is like, no, we're all good. So then we see Skip and Drake in Rooney's office, and Drake is drunk, and Skip's making this drink for him. He smells it. He's like, oh, I don't want any of that. And Rooney's like, you need to drink it, Drake, right now. And then Drake's like, Skip, what's this asshole doing in my office? Skip's like, actually, we're in his office, and there's some stuff going on, and we gotta sober up to try and fix the problem here. So then, of course, Drake's like, I'm not dealing with your problem. I'm not trying to fix the thing that I told you to stop doing. And he goes to walk away, and then Rooney's like, hey, well, Drake, they got Lita. And he just stops. He's like, oh, no, I kind of want to bone that lady. So now it's like nighttime. We see Stumpy and Drake out in the middle of the desert, and they're searching for this Meg gun because apparently Stumpy's dad or granddad was one of the people that dealt with the mega robots, and apparently there's pieces of them still around. And Stumpy's like, it was somewhere in Crystal Vista, smack down the middle. It's kind of like a stone warehouse. It was near school. I'm pretty sure about that. My grandpa and his crew used to hang out there and talk about the Mega One. And we find out that apparently Stumpy's grandpa made his first robot at school because it was like a school project. So this whole time, Letta's been actually running away trying to hide. She wasn't at the terminal when everyone else got kidnapped, and she's hiding in this building. Apparently, Singh and a bunch of other Chronos people are able to find her with no problem. I don't know how they decide to search that building, but they kick a box and she's not there, so she pops up, she shoots one of the warriors, and then they all grab her and just take her away. Then as they're dragging her down this alleyway, out of nowhere, Stumpy just jumps out and be like, "Remember the Alamo!" And they start shooting the Chronos people, and Drake starts shooting them and be like, "Oh, look, save you. Look at that, kind of fancy that I just showed up at the right point in time to save you." So the Central people all die, Chao Sing also dies, and somebody lets Wally know over the computer. He's like, what? How did he die? So now we have a very upset Wally because his friend, or son maybe, I don't know, Chao Sing is now dead as well. So now he's like, you know what, we got some payback to give. The whole time everything has been going on, though, Wally has been just in the Mirrors 2 with the laser beam shooting at a temple, like a pyramid, and he's just trying to shoot through it, I guess. But then we also see Rooney's like, why the hell are Drake and Stumpy underneath the basement of a school? So then as Stumpy, Drake, and Letta are in the basement of this school, we have Stumpy trying to open this big ass door that won't open, and then Drake's just like, "Are you hurt bad? Do you need help?" Letta's just like, "It's just a scratch, stop worrying about it." Stumpy's gonna throw out his back and get a hernia trying to open the goddamn door. And then Wally has like a target position showing up on his computer, and he knows exactly where Drake is. So now he's on the way to get to where Drake is, so he can obviously, kill him. So the door that they open up, that Stumpy finally gets open, they walk inside, and it's actually the cockpit of one of the Mega Robots. And Stumpy starts playing with some buttons, and then we see the cockpit actually light up. And this thing apparently still has power, even though it's been sitting for God knows how many years at this point in time, because apparently they thought they destroyed the Mega 1 robot years ago. So then the whole cockpit computer comes on, and apparently there's some transformer or transgender thing that's not engaging. And then Stumpy's like, something's wrong, even though it's flashing around the screen. And Drake's like, I know, go fix it. So then he's like, I think I'm gonna go fix this part. It's like, it literally told you on the computer what part's wrong. And then this is when Wally pops up on the monitor, and Letta's like, Drake, look on the monitor. And we see Wally, peekaboo, I kill you. So we see Stumpy in this ladder crawl space, and he finally gets his lever powered on, and everything just starts flashing and sparking, exploding, and Stumpy yells up to Drake, "Forget the gun, the whole damn robot's still intact, let's use it." And then in Crystal Vista, in the middle of the sidewalk, or the middle of the main street, we see the road starting to break, because the robot, the Mega 1, is slowly starting to breach through the road and the surface, because it was underneath the city the whole time. Then we see the Mega 1 fully standing up in the city, and Wally shows up with the Mirrors 2, and he's like, "No, can't be. It's impossible." And we see Drake using the Mega 1 and like making it just walk down the street, and Letta's like, "Good job, lover boy, you're doing such a good job, walking straight." The design of Mega 1 kind of looks like a robotic version of E.T. on steroids, mainly because of the head design. It looks like it's got two giant eyes, and it just looks like E.T. was tired of being picked on and bullied, so he's like, you know what, I'm gonna get jacked and become a robot. But that's okay, Mecha Godzilla's a cool thing. So then Drake and Wally start fighting, and they're robots, and then Letta's like, "Oh no, Drake, the hostages." So then Drake just takes the Mega 1 and literally grabs the top shuttle off of the Mirrors 1 and just rips it right off, being like, "No, they're mine now." So we see the shuttle is now on the ground. We see the door open and everyone's running out. I'm not sure if I'm guessing that's probably a little bit of a safer bet than staying in the tin can, hopefully getting stepped on, or not getting stepped on, I guess would be the technical way of saying it. So we see Wally and the Mirrors 2 drop Drake and Mega 1 to the ground. That pisses off Drake, so then Drake gets back up and decides to grab the scorpion tail of the Mirrors 2, but then he just gets dropped yet again to the ground. But apparently he's got these laser beams on his chest, because the Mirrors 1 gets on his chest, and he just literally shoots laser beams right through it. And then we see Rooney and everyone else at the terminal being like, "Yeah, he's kicking Wally's ass." And then apparently that's it, because then Drake lets go of the controls, and we see him and Linda getting close, and then Stumpy walks in. So then Drake goes over to Stumpy like, hey, can you get out here, please? I was gonna get with her, and like you just walked in at the weird time, and I just saved the day and all, and like I saved the hostages, and then like I just blew up Wally, and like I was gonna probably get some in the cab here. I know it's a little dusty and shit, but can you like leave and come back in like probably 10? So then like after Stumpy leaves, Drake grabs Letta and picks her up. She's like, whoa, Captain, I don't even know your first name. And then he's like, it's Marion. And then she looks away being like, oh, I had to ask, I guess. And then they start making out, and we see a shot from outside the robot as the sunset is coming up or going down. 1, 2, I don't know. I think it's going down. Maybe it's going up. I don't know. And that's the end of the movie, and the outro credits start to roll. So, that's the end of that movie. It was very lacking on the robot side of things. I should have understood that when it's a band movie and I'm going into it, because it's robot wars, but we hear I guess a little bit of talk of the war, but we only see 2 robots fight, and it's for like the last 10 minutes of the movie and nothing else. We see like the cool cover photo. It looks really cool. Looks like lots of sparks and shit going all over the place. Well, we don't see any of that effect, and yeah, it's an alright movie, I guess. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy to see, but on the Rotten scale of 10, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I was going to go for a 4 if we saw more of the robots, because we see like the same image of the Maris 2 back and forth, and there's nothing really to it. It's a Scorpion model, so you can't really do too much with it. And then the Mega 1 has potential, but like I said, you only see it for like the last maybe 10 minutes of the movie, and that's it. And for the most part, you see it from the cockpit inside. Maybe 5 minutes is the 2 of them battling. So that being said, it's kind of disappointment. It's not horrible. The acting's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but yeah, 3.5, 4 tops if I really want to be nice and generous. But I'm glad I watched it, but I'm not going to probably revisit it. But that's besides the point. And which brings us to the point in time where we're going to pick what we're going to be watching next week. Alright, for next week, it's a movie that I thought we already did, but I'm surprised we haven't done yet. I've watched this one a couple times, and I enjoy it a lot. You guys might not. If you don't, then oh well. It's my podcast, and I do what I want. I'm kidding. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. You guys should. This one is also on Tubi as well, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out beforehand. This one is from 1984. It's a horror sci-fi movie. It's got runtime of 1 hour and 36 minutes. It's PG-13. The title for this one is Night of the Comet. When a passing comet snuffs out most of humanity, a pair of very 80s Valley girls hit the mall and battle hordes of bloodthirsty zombies. I'm a sucker for zombie movies, and I love zombie movies, and I actually really enjoy this movie. And the 80s Valley Girls thing is pretty funny, not gonna lie. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. It's a good movie. I'm already recommending this one because I've already seen it like a handful of times. So hopefully you guys will check that one out next week. Like I said, it's from 1984. We're getting back to the sci-fi horror movies, and we're watching Night of the Comet. So with that being said, make sure to check out the outro band. As always, trauma-based horror band, Blood Opera. All the links are down below, and we also have them tagged to the episode as well, because now Spotify allows you to do that. So you can just click on the tag below this to check out their music. And as always, make sure to check out all my social media links down below at Typhon Sign. You can find me on anything and everything. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, TikTok. The main thing though being that YouTube channel. Make sure to check it out. Got the weekly game video dropping every single Wednesday. Various shorts, old episodes of the podcast drop every single Monday. I do live streams over there as well as community posts, so definitely check out. There's hours upon hours of free content to keep you busy until the next episode of the podcast.
And make sure to check out the CWC Canadian Wrestling Championship page on Instagram as well as Facebook for all your wrestling content. We'll have more news and content coming out for that soon. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.